everyone. This is Chris from Raven's Reviews. I wanted to start a little discussion or debate, I guess you can want to call it, whatever it spirals into. It's about Transformers. Back in my day, of course, that we, when those Transformers first came out, everybody was, ooh ah, look at that, that's great, and it was, at the time when I was that young age, to me it was cool then. Little did I know that things were going to turn into the way they do now. But thing is, though, is that and the nostalgic people, which I'm nostalgic from the point that I would grab the old ones just to have them like I did as a kid, but um, from design wise, it's really not accurate. The Optimus Prime back then, it didn't. They tried to make it look like it, but they just didn't make it right. Looking back now, that's I'm saying that, but I didn't know any better then. But you take like Optimus Prime, what he looks like in the cartoon, and you get what we ended up getting back in the '80s. I don't know if any of these people knew or read a comic or saw the cartoon or whatever the case may be. It's I don't understand. The if you ever watched the Transformer episode of Toys That Made Us, they go into really detail about the relationship between Takara and the U.S. and other companies. Uh, they had those figures that are out now then, and you would have thought that when they were working with U.S. was working with the people over there that they would have said, "Hey, let us buy the rights, to your design, so we can also produce that same kind of figure." I think if we had then what we do now, at least in terms of design wise, it would have shut off a lot more, than it did. Like this one for example. I'm a part of my other videos is I talk about the slimming down my large Transformers to as many of the small equivalents as I can. Now, like I said in the cartoon, you all know what Optimus Prime looked like, and this is pretty close. It's very very nice and all that stuff. Could still turn into a truck. But then you get what we got, which she had this huge square thing, which was the cab, and the legs and the arms. It did not look at all like the cartoon, and that can go for most of the Transformers that were made back then. They just you know seems like they half-assed it most of the time and just slapped the Transformer label on it. Um, you got like another one of my small ones. Like Starscream. Starscream didn't look like he did. Back then. Neither did Cyclonus. Cyclonus. He didn't look like that. This is how he looks like. This is how he's supposed to look like. Same thing with like Motormaster. You know, Same thing. And then you got, I think about the only one that might have come close, except for the legs were like super skinny, would be Shockwave. You know, but even this one, the other one has such tiny, skinny legs, and it just didn't seem right. And then of course, those that never got to see it, the in that Toys That Made Us episode, take a peek at the back. Whenever people are talking, you'll see a Unicron that he had like a basketball-sized body with the head there and the arms sticking out and the legs there. Nothing like the Unicron that's out now. I mean, that one's accurate, screen accurate, and that's where I'm talking about. I'm not downing the nostalgic aspect of the ones that they had back then. That would be definitely something for a collector to collect and have a piece of the '80s, and all that. I get that. If I could, I would myself probably, even with the reissues they have out now. But as far as like being able to say, hey, I want ones that look like the cartoon or the movies or the TV show, whatever the case may be, except for the Bayformers, we that's a whole other video. Um, you know, um, it's just like this one here, like Grimlock. It's really cool. I mean, that one they might have gotten pretty close to you know what it was. There's some hit and misses with that. Omega Supreme. It just seemed like he had like these short, stubby legs. Where the small version that I have, you know, proportioned right. Designed right. Oh, and let's not forget the other one that came out initially that was disastrous. Nothing like the cartoon, and anybody that says that it did, I'd be calling them a liar. Because you all know what Megatron looked like in cartoon. You all know what he looked like in the toy. It just was not right. And now you got this. Looks perfectly like the cartoon, the movies and stuff like that. Even has the weapons that killed Optimus Prime. So on. That's what they should have looked like back then. That's just, I mean, obviously all this that I'm saying is just my personal opinion, and anybody that, um, doesn't agree is in their rights to do so. Um, you know, it's just my thoughts on it, and like if anybody remembers what the old Minosaur looked like, okay, I got the small version of the really good one that's out now. Oh, hell. 1 second. Okay. This is what he looks like. Okay. Cars in the back, boom, boom, boom. Really cool. Then you get the one that they made back then, which, the legs you can barely move. You're lucky. I mean, it can go up and down, but you can't. You don't have the moving of the arms right. It just it just doesn't seem right. I mean, I wish they would have made things like they do now. Back then, because then if they got the plans, bought the plans or agreed to share them or something, um, that would kind of eliminate some of the need for the third party market. Find them out there and stuff, because we would have been making them here. But some other fabulous ones, of course, is Bumblebee. They tried, but it's more like because of the maneuverability. The moving of the legs and stuff. Some of them were just like you just couldn't really move them. You'd have to obviously use your imagination a little bit more. Sea Spray, another cool one. I have like loads of them that are from the small ones. Thrust. I think it's Dirge actually. Can't remember. You know, things didn't look like it back then. Then of course Galvatron. Okay, Galvatron. This is how he looked like in the cartoon, in Transformers the movie. What we got was not really correct. I mean, it was, but I don't know. It just seemed too bulky, too thick. Didn't really, seem like they, tried too hard. It's just not a toy designer, but just seeing how, I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, hey, I want my toy to look like that, and give it to me. Um, and the fact that Optimus Prime was this big cab with these arms and legs and stuff. It just, I don't know. You know, they tried, but I don't think it came out the way I would have. You know, being older now, like to have seen. You know, as I said before, you know, I was a kid then, didn't know any better. Thing came out, transforming vehicles and all that other stuff, and you know, it was fantastic. You know, and for a while, you know, it was. You know, but now being older, where I'm thinking like, you know, oh, I like to have props that are movie accurate, or this, or Thor's hammer, you know, on a 3D printer so it looks like the, you know, Mjolnir or whatever how you say it, or his new one, you know, where you're not gonna go taking, you know, something that doesn't even look like it, you know, or has just some familiarity but not completely. Um, so now being older, you know, now I'd like to be able to have mine that looks like, you know, the cartoons, like how I remember the cartoons to be, and that's why I painted my Optimus Prime to look like he did in the cartoon. You know, I even another video I showed that I had a second Optimus Prime that I made into Nemesis Prime. I actually really liked the way I made this one. Um, you know, you know, like I said, it's just all up to the person. You know, no one has to, you know, roast me and say, hey, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. You have your own opinions. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. And if you do, you know, it's a healthy debate. You know, we can debate back and forth without arguing or yelling or swearing or whatever. Just, you know, if I could have both the stuff from the 80s and the stuff that I'm collecting now, I'd have a separate section and I do it. You know, I have no problem getting hold of them if they're available, but um, I just don't have like if I want to mess around with my son, you know, with them, I just liked them to be like they were, you know, back then, you know, the cartoons and stuff. But you know, it's just, you know, the whole, you know, if I knew then what I know now kind of thing, you know, and you know, it's just you know, it's up to anybody, you know, it's up to whoever wants to, you know, agree and disagree. You know, I mean, I like I said, that Unicron one was just hideous. And you know, if anybody needs to look it up, look up what the original blueprint design for Unicron was, and compare the way he was in the movie and the way the toy is now. That'll put a shock to your system real fast. Um, so anyway, that's my discussion for this time. You know, if you can, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, and please, you know, by all means, you know, view the videos. And you know, if you'd like to discuss more, leave a comment below. Let me know, and we will, you know, continue the discussion and go from there. So everybody have a great day. Stay warm and be safe.